Galen, right now I'm happy to be anywhere. I finally got out of that bed. In comments to Michael Daggett, he talks about the color of my hair. I just want to talk to him about having hair. So, my name's Kent Smoll. I'm the past chair of the Kansas Board of Accountancy and the managing member of Smoll and Banning CPAs in Dodge City, Kansas. During the past year, I've served as NASBA's treasurer and chair of the Administration and Finance Committee. As chair, I had the pleasure of giving the fiscal 2013 financial overview. Along with me, there are 5 other members that serve on the Administration and Finance Committee. I know some of them are here, and if they'd stand up, I'd appreciate it. We have Don Aubrey from Washington, Peter Dioleve, and he's from Alabama. Carlos Johnson, he's the vice chair coming in. Jack Katzenmeyer from from Ohio, and Vicki Petit from Oklahoma. These are the committee members, and I appreciate all their hard work and efforts that they've done. Brought my clicker boy with me, but didn't give him the toys. The committee charge, people say, well, what do you do on A&F? And A&F committee is established by the bylaws as a standing committee to serve and report to the board of directors. The role assigned to the A&F is that it shall oversee and monitor the fiscal operations of the association. How do we do that? Well, I believe that the committee fulfilled its responsibility by working with management and the board of directors as follows. During fiscal year 2013, the committee met 4 times with executive, operational, and financial management of NASBA. The management provides to us, the committee, a discussion and analysis of the internal financial statements in order to review the results of operations, inquire about the variances from budget, and to monitor the performances of the investment. Secondly, we have a subcommittee which is made up of Vicki Petit, Michael Bryant, the CFO, and myself, and we serve as the investment committee, and we met 4 times. Additionally, we had several phone conferences almost on a monthly basis with our advisor. Next, the committee received informational updates on its investment in the PCS holding company. If you remember, about 2 fiscal years ago, NASBA sold PCS, its wholly owned subsidiary, to this holding company, and we still have a 20% equity interest in that. The committee also reviewed the operating capital budget for the next year, fiscal 2014, and recommended them for approval to the board. The committee reviewed the insurance coverage and management's assessment of the risk on insurance coverage and other organizational risks. As A&F chairman and NASBA's treasurer, I report quarterly to the board of directors along with Senior Vice President Michael Bryant. He's the CFO down here in front, and he is invaluable, and I really appreciate everything that he has done. Through all these activities, I think the A&F committee fulfilled its charge of overseeing NASBA's fiscal operations. So where are we at? If you'll look at page 48 of your annual report, and that's where the financial statements start, it's a pleasure to report to the membership that fiscal 2013 was NASBA's most financially successful year in all categories: operations, investments, and resources devoted to the boards of accountancy. The last item, resources devoted to the boards of accountancy, saw fiscal year 2013 being the year in which the highest amount of mission activity spending occurred on behalf of the boards of accountancy. This is truly a key indicator of what an extremely successful year we have had as an association. Before we get into a few of the charts, I just want to summarize why we had such a great year. Primarily, it was started in fiscal year 2012. There was a workforce restructuring that led to reductions in staff support areas. and the addition of 2 new positions that were added specifically to serve boards of accountancy in the regulatory and legislative area. This signaled a big shift back to the state boards in terms of focus. In the current year, operations in both examination and compliance services benefited from moderate revenue growth and overall association expense reduction. This provides the economic fuel for greater resources. In addition, investments benefited from improving economic conditions over the prior fiscal year. Also, from a cash flow standpoint, you'll recall that the sale of PCS 2 years ago was a total of $7.5 million. And as a part of that sale, there was a note for $2.5 million that was to be paid to NASBA over 5 years. During the past year just ended, 4 quarterly note payments of principal and interest amounted to $652,000 were due and received on schedule from the PCS buyer. Now, if we can, I want to move on to a high-level kind of review of the financials. As can be seen, revenues grew 3.7%. In dollars, that's an estimated $1 million in additional revenue. About half of this increase is attributable to the prior year's launch of the International Evaluation Services segment of the Examination Services Division. The other half is comprised of increases in both the National Registry of CPE sponsors, which was the sponsor number grew and there was a great retention. The other part was the combined domestic and international exam-related activities. So those totaled up to about the $1 million increase in revenue. Additionally, with this revenue increase, we had about a 1.5% decline in the expenditures. So this yielded a significant amount of net revenues to the organization. And if you'll look at the next slide, you can see that our revenues went up $1.5 million from 2012, and these are operating revenues. Starting with these operating results of $1 million last year, and you can add the $2.5 million, then you look at what happened to the investments. In 2012, the net investment gain was about $400,000. In fiscal year 2013, it was $2.3 million. So when you add those two together, you're going to see that the revenue from 2012 went from $1.4 million up to $4.8 million. So it's a significant increase and something we are all very proud of. In the current year, we had investment income of $2.3 million compared to the $400,000 the prior year. General market conditions led to a significant gain on those long-term funds. As I have said, fiscal year 2013 had significant positive improvement in both operations and in investments over the prior year. Both normal mission operations and investment income were in fact the highest positive returns at NASBA in the history for each of these components. Combined, you'll see that 4.8 is the total increase in net assets. Only in fiscal year 2011, when the PCS sale occurred, did NASBA add more to their net asset revenue. As for resources devoted to the boards, the direct spending on mission-related programs, conferences, and communication activities in the current fiscal year has increased 29% to 2 years ago in fiscal year 2011. In dollars, that's $1.3 million in additional spending on the boards of accountancy. If you were to add to those direct expenditures, the staff costs, that number would go from $6 million last year to 7.7 is the actual amount spent on supporting state boards of accountancy. NASBA's examination, licensing, and other services provided the economic resources that give the organization its financial capability to spend on its missions to enhance the effectiveness and advance the common interests of the boards of accountancy. And this chart shows how it is continuing to increase in the direct spending. I'm going to step back for a minute to the investments. as for the long-term investment, the overall return that we had last year was 12%, which was compared to 0.1% for 2012. But if you go back 2 years ago and average the 3 years, you can see that we're going to have an average of 8.1% return on our long-term investments. It's very consistent and conservative in how we are investing, and I appreciate all the work that Michael and Troy have done on this and working with our advisor. The last graph I have shows how the association's net assets have increased over the last 5 years. The 2001 year had a jump in the middle as it was a result of the PCS sale. But at the far right, you can see that for 2013, the net asset balance tops out at $33 million, which is double the amount we were 5 years ago. As always, NASBA seeks to balance its current financial capability to support boards with its objective of sustaining long-term financial stability. The strong financial foundation that has been established continues to remain firm. This creates a commitment to be sure those resources benefit and serve the boards in the most efficient and effective way. The Administration and Finance Committee has been pleased to serve the association this year, and as chair, I'm very pleased to report to you the financial results of 2013. I commend the management and the financial staff of the organization for their hard work, stewardship, and commitment to the mission. Just like the theme of the annual report, I can say from firsthand experience that they are truly driven towards excellence. And Mr. Chairman, that is my report. Thank you.